Good evening, people. Welcome. We're a bit early tonight, basically, because I was trying to catch Wilco out because he's got this shirt on of choice, but it was distracting me. So I was trying to catch you out.
Got a blue one on now.
Yeah, I know, but he had an orange one, and if anybody's been listening to the last few shows, you'll realise that orange equals Sainsbury's bag equals just problems for
Ben
me.
Slater.
Yeah, Ben Slater. I got that up PDS Steel, whatever they call it, from Ben Slater and plastic bags. But anyway, that doesn't matter. As people join, we got to welcome our very special guest, Matt Carpenter's on. Matt, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's Friday, so I am fantastic.
He's buzzing. Now we'll come into Matt's story in a bit, but basically I'm buzzing because he's here, because he's just gonna tell it how it is, and it's just brilliant. And we'll come on to that in just a minute. We've also been joined by superstar, my protege from Carlisle, Beth. You right, mate?
I am very well, thank you.
Hey, did you think that's fair thing in terms of she's my protege?
I think you better ask her that question.
What do you mean? I think it's fitting. The fact that I passed that mantle on to somebody, I think it's good. So,
that title.
Look, but Wilco, how do you feel about that? Did you feel like you was my protege, but now feel slightly put out the fact that I've named Beth as my protege?
Not at all. I think she's a very safe pair of hands. Exactly what the organisation requires at this difficult time.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that was.
It's a very difficult time. It is a very, very difficult time.
I'm just going to stay quiet.
Yeah, Matt, bless you. Just to give you a bit of a heads up, we don't take these things particularly serious. Although we are the largest running podcast in the world, and we've won awards, which will blow your mind after sitting through this for an hour. But we don't take things particularly serious at all. None of this is scripted. As you know, we're doing this live, so anything could happen. The dog could walk in, the internet could crash. We don't really give a shit. And anything could happen. So you've been pre-warned.
I'm glad I took my shirt off before we started.
Yes, I was going to say, that's the thing, Wilco. Right, evening team. So as everybody's joining us, as I say, we've got Matt Carpenter. Matt, where can people firstly, we'll do this at the end as well, because the audience take a little while to get in. Where can people find you firstly? Just we'll get that done straight away.
Sure, the best place is TikTok. I'm trying to be better on Instagram, but I'm lazy, so it's mainly TikTok. I think my name's Matt Carpenter Science on TikTok.
I think that's a great start.
Because being the hyper intelligent person I am, I made it slightly different on Instagram. So I think it's Matt Endurance Science on Instagram.
Okay.
At some point, but TikTok's the safest place because I'm too lazy to post on two platforms.
Hero. And we're going to be coming on to Matt because I found Matt on TikTok and I think his stuff's brilliant. And I just love the fact that the comments and everything is, and again, I'll come on to that in just a minute, but we are going to be debunking basically all the bollocks that's out there relating to running. Matt does other stuff, but we're going to be getting into that, especially stuff, and I love this, around gels, electrolytes, certain CBD products, and things like this, right? We're going to get into that today. So if there's anything that you've got that Matt, you think can check, go and check him out now. Don't listen to the first part of this show because it's going to be crap. Go and check out Matt's stuff on TikTok and then come back and then ask the questions. I'll give you permission to do that this week, all right?
Do you think we should tell listeners actually what Matt does for a living first? Because the people might think at the moment he's just a TikTok creator that's there for fun. Should we tell him what he's
that's how my wife started introducing me now. I think that's a low point. TikTok.
Go on in, Hayden.
I'll hand over to Matt. The title's too big for me.
It is a big title.
It is a big title.
What is my title? Yeah, I'm a sports science lecturer mainly. That's my day job. So exercise physiology, and I'm doing a PhD in exercise physiology, sports science, looking at supplements for endurance exercise and nutritional strategies.
I've got no idea what any
of that. I had no chance.
I'll be honest with you.
I teach people the stuff that I say on TikTok. I'm just sort of giving it all away for free now to save people the tuition fees.
Okay. I just when I see it, I just think he looks like he knows what he's talking about. So that's good. Beth, did any of that make any sense to you? Yes, definitely my protege. 100% right, so Matt, we've got to do some plugs to start with. We always get them done. Firstly, I want to do our own plug because on Wednesday it's Global Running Day, and one of the things we're doing is we're taking over a pub because that's what you do when you go running. We're taking over a pub and we're doing a live version of this, as you guys hopefully know by now. We're also doing a little trot down the river. We've teamed up with what they called, Hayden?
Pub Run Company.
Pub Run Company. They're joining us, and we're going to be making a load of chaos down there. If you want to come along, it's totally free. It's in Surbiton. Get onto the website, sign up. We want you to sign up basically so if there's an issue in terms of like emergency contact details, that sort of thing. That's the only reason we ask you to sign up. So you're safe. That's our priority. And as I said, everyone's going to come back to the pub and we're going to do a live show and we're going to cause absolute carnage in the pub. Total and utter carnage. We're doing a dry run for something that we can't tell you about. Just for you. Just think of it as a pilot, okay? Not as a pilot as like me who flies the planes. Think as a pilot as in pilot. Hayden, did you know, by the way, actually you won't know this, Beth, on Wednesday, I've got a special makeup artist coming down to sort me out.
Very nice.
I'm being serious. I have. Her name's Darren, and she's got a mirror. I thought you'd like that, Hayden. And if you are coming on Wednesday, we're looking for a cameraman or woman to help on Wednesday because we've got the static camera set up, but we do need someone on a GoPro to follow us around. So if you're up for that, email hello@fordyrounds.com. Okay, right. So that's that done. Sorry. Within the community, we are going to be getting out and about as well. We want people to get out. We want people to get people along to just, even if it's their first time going for some exercise in a long time, get them out on Global Run Day. That's what we want. Okay, Global Run Day. We want everybody out, getting better, proving their wellness, proving their well-being, but try and do it together. Okay, that's what we want to do. Next up, plugs, sportshoes.com. Make sure you join as a 40 Rounds affiliated club member. You're going to get 15% off of that, yeah, at sportshoes.com. That's huge. The 20 quid it costs you to join the club, you're going to get that back when you spend $8,000 on a pair of Alpha Flies, okay? So do that. You're welcome. Next up, Cooper. If you want to train for something and you can't afford a coach, which I appreciate, we're expensive, get over to 40rounds.com/Cooper. You get 2 weeks free and a discount, right? Lastly, if you want to join the club, it's free. I know, we're nuts, aren't we? But it's free. Get involved, people. We're the largest club in the country. And, Hayden, should we give them a sneak into what's coming in terms of over the pond?
Absolutely. Let's go for it.
We may, that means we have, but we may have cemented our first, put the flag into the US of A. We have confirmed that we have a new run club starting in the US of A. I'm not going to tell you when, and I'm not going to tell you where yet. That's coming. But we have and will be very soon starting our first run club in the US of A. Now, I appreciate we do get quite a lot of people listen to this in the US. If you are in the US and you want to start a run group, maybe you've already got a run group, and you think, actually, I get what, the ethos of the club and stuff, get in touch, hello@40rounds.com. We are coming to the US. Okay, we've got our first one, but if you want to get involved, get involved. Right, that's all the plugs done. Matt, are you still awake?
Yes.
We have to do this shit at the start of every show. It's boring, but we have to do it, okay? It could be worse. I could be playing a game, but I'm saving that for Wednesday. I've got, by the way, anybody's coming on Wednesday, I've got a new game we're trialing. Because we've got, Matt, we do these shows live, right? So we go to the National Running Show and all this sort of stuff, do a lot of influencing on stage. And this year, they've asked us for a very, very serious sort of topic sort of thing. But what I'm actually more concerned about is what game we're going to play. Because we've had some absolute belters on this award-winning podcast. So I know. Why are you laughing, Beth? You're meant to be my protege. You're meant to be backing me up here. But we're going to be trialing, man. So you're lucky today because you're not going to get the lightning round because that's usually quite tough. And you're not going to get a would you rather, or what's one of my other good ones, Wilco?
Oh, I love a would you rather.
True or false?
True or false, false or true, true or false, false or true. That's a classic.
Hayden's house.
Hayden's house is a good one.
Oh, yeah.
You have to guess
Amazing.
whether that's a Hayden. There's some absolute belters, honestly. Most of them go really badly wrong. Right, okay. Moving on. More importantly, we're going to go through this at a fast pace because I want to get into the stuff with Matt, okay? So, again, if you're looking, thinking about all the bollocks that's written out there on Instagram, TikTok, all these influencers telling you should be rubbing this on your forehead, drinking this with that, and, I don't know, taking 82 gels before you set off on your 5K, whatever you've seen or heard, jumping in an ice bath, all that sort of stuff, I want you to smash it into the comments and we will pick some of that up, okay? Hayden's got a list of about 300 things to go through as well. But before I want to get on to that, we do have a very serious topic for once. Beth, or FORDY Junior, as I'm now going to call you. You made a good point this week, which blew my mind, really, which was about the milestone at Parkrun. Fill the viewers in.
Indeed. Yeah, so Parkrun has seen its 11 millionth registration, and the thing is, it's the quickest million that has ever registered for Parkrun as well. And I think that just goes to show like how amazing Parkrun is as a thing. So the idea that it's free forever, you turn up 9 o'clock, you know what you're doing. Anywhere you go, it's exactly the same thing. And the community it's built up, it's a bit like FORDY runs really. That little community, that little bubble at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning is just amazing. So I think it's just a proud little moment for everyone that's a park runner. Whether you've done one, whether you've done 250, it doesn't matter. You're a park runner, and that's all that counts.
Matt, have you ever done Parkrun?
4 or 5, I think. Not very. I lived in Surbiton, would you believe, for about 6 years, and so I got like Richmond around there. But she got some nice friends. I spent 3 years at uni and did Richmond Parkrun once, which was a disgrace. But I have done it.
You have done it. I think. I mean, this is the thing, is it? There's a couple of things on Parkrun I'm going to throw out there. Firstly, do you think it will ever get to the point where there's too many people doing it? In terms of, wait, Bev, wait. She's just like me, isn't she? Whether it gets to the point where there's too many people doing it and it has to change. I'm asking Bev, but we'll kick it around. Do you think the state of Parkrun at the moment is a good or bad thing? Because obviously they've gone a little bit more commercial at the moment. I understand why. And also, last question, do you think Parkrun will ever get a competitor? Think about that one for a minute. So I'm going to start though with Wilco because he looks bored.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Did you listen to any of that I just said?
Yes.
Okay, go.
So, do I think Parkrun's getting too big? No, I don't.
Good.
I think it's. I think there's plenty of scope. I think there's as much enthusiasm for organising new events as there is for people to take part in them. So as long as that continues, and as long as vitally the volunteers are still there, that people are willing to take up their time and organise events, I don't see the problem. A competitor, that was the third one. I'm going to jump around just to play with your brain. I don't think that anybody will. I think it's the original, and it's as a brand, everyone will stick to it. And the other thing was commercially, wasn't it? I don't see a problem with the approach that they're adopting at the moment. It doesn't seem overly commercial. Everything, does need backing and a bit of help every now and then. And if people are willing to add their financial backing to help the organisation thrive, then I've not got a problem with that at all.
Okay. I just want to say good evening to everybody who's tuning in, by the way. I sort of not acknowledged them yet. Hayden, where are you at? I'm going to come on to my junior in a minute.
Yeah, sure. I think pretty much on the same lines as Wilco. I don't think, can it get too big? No. Some park runs are naturally going to get busier with all the events that are going on. That's natural progression. But that bigger also brings on and embraces the fact there'll be more park runs starting up. So there'll be a bigger spread for people to move around. So I don't think it's getting too big. Is it getting too commercial? As long as they keep it free and they keep the same ethos, I think that it's absolutely irrelevant. Someone's always going to make money out of something somewhere along the line, whether you're in a commercial business or a free sector. You can say the same about brownies, cubs, and all these sort of things. There's always going to be something there. But it's an absolute incredible phenomenon that someone invented. And can it be matched? Can it be rivaled? I'm afraid not. The only way I see it ever being rivaled is if someone took the concept but took it over a different distance or took it over a different means, i.e., I don't know, maybe someone could add some sort of like high rocks into it and start getting little areas where you do sort of like a 3K run followed by press ups or something. I don't know, something like that, or a bit of a bike ride, triathlon feel to it. That could have legs on it, something like that. But ultimately, there's not going to be no competition out there. It's absolutely incredible. And if you'd have said to Mr. Sinton Hewitt in 2012, there's going to be 11 million people doing this, you just wouldn't ever have dreamed it, would you? It's incredible.
Matt, someone looking in, what's your opinion on Parkrun?
I love Parkrun. When I did Richmond Parkrun, I got overtaken by a giant. I looked up and it was Matthew Pinson. Olympic 4-time gold medalist, whatever it is. I think only at parkrun would you get. He was going the wrong way, didn't know what he was doing. I checked his time and he went faster than me, age whatever it was. I was 21, he was 55. He must have weighed about 10% more than me. So I think only at parkrun could you see an Olympian and race alongside one.
That's a good point, though, isn't it? As you say, everybody's equal at parkrun, and I think Beth, I want you to come in on this one as a huge fan of parkrun, and rightly so. Where are you at with my questions?
I think that, yes, as parkrun gets more popular, they do get more and more people, and it is sad when you see some like kind of overwhelmed as such. So I know when Battersea started, for example, on week 2, they had more than Bushy, like over 1,000 people. It's absolutely crazy. But then you think that's 1,000 people getting out of bed on a Saturday morning. So I think it comes back to Wilco's point in that as long as the volunteers are there, I think parkrun will keep going, more will keep popping up. And I think you can make it as commercial as you want, but when you strip it all back, the ethos of parkrun is just let's go out for a run. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, 9 o'clock or 9:30 if you're in Scotland on a Saturday morning. You're just all doing the same thing. And that's the bit that I love about it.
Yeah, I think, you know what, I ain't got a problem with it being commercial, really, because I tell you why. You think they're doing all that for free, like the people, and it must be an absolute beast to manage. So you need full-time people, and you've got to pay people, rightly so, right? So fair play to them for being out there and getting those agreements put in place, because then that means that it can stay free and it can be delivered across the world. And it's got the infrastructure to take it, maintain it, and improve it as well. Because I think, it sounds funny, but I remember the day when you didn't have it on your phone and all this sort of stuff. So fair play to them. Do you know what I mean? In terms of making and creating something that's sustainable and free to people to get along to. So yeah, good for them.
There's a couple of fair points that have been made on the chat.
Oh yeah,
Mark said that Walsall Parkrun have had to alter its course because it's got too busy, and Chris has said that Leamington Spa and Stratford, they've had to make their finish funnels longer to cope with increasing participation. I think what this illustrates is the adaptability of it all.
Yeah.
The fact that everything's not sort of like, it is sort of like you run 5K, but there's so much that people can micromanage to make it a better experience, and they have the freedom to do that. And I think that's a really good thing on Parkrun's part, that people are able on a local level to sort of like make little adaptations and little tweaks that make for a better experience for everybody. That's another big plus for me, that the basics are all there, but people can just tinker with it so it suits them.
I think you're always going to find sort of all issues and problems. So one of the biggest current issues is the fact that they took away the stats. I understand why they've done it, because they want to take that competitive element away. But then there's a lot of people that like to have it as a competitive element within itself, or like to just be competitive for themselves. So you're going to have the controversial sides with that. You're going to have this whole thing about the carbon footprint, where people are traveling all around the country, or indeed all around the world, to go and do different parkruns and parkrun tourism. Is that good for the carbon footprint? But you take it away and you strip it back, they're doing stuff for the good, and you're always going to find people that are always going to find the wrong in something. And ultimately, no one can say that parkrun is there and it's a bad thing. I'd be absolutely, to be challenged on that, it's just incredible for anyone to say parkrun's a bad thing. That's just crazy.
Yeah, go on, Bev.
I was just going to add, like, in terms of like doing the good as well, all the volunteers you see week in, week out, like there's people that don't run that volunteer, that people that do run that volunteer. And if I was to say anything, it's just like try and give up one run maybe every few months, and that would make a massive difference to each individual parkrun. And going on about the longevity of it, at least then like parkruns can thrive, as opposed to have to like cancel because of lack of volunteers or whatever.
Actually, Joe or Beth, I think indirectly you might have just come up with something absolutely massive for parkrun. So
wait. That's because she's my protege.
That could be the case, so you better get it copyrighted. I just think everything's done digitally now on the phone, so they know as soon as you complete. If I go to my Bushy Parkrun, within an hour and a half, I get a text message, and they know I've done it. They could make it up. If you've run, let's say 20 parkruns, and you haven't volunteered, sure they've got the technology easy enough where your time doesn't get registered. You don't get that credit until you do that one volunteer. Then you start again, you're 20. If they've done that with everyone, they'd have volunteers all around the world for every single parkrun. And that must be easy for them to do technology-wise, surely.
I think we spoke to, well, it was a live thingy with Paul Sinton Hewitt once, we went along, and his view is quite interesting in that you never know what's going on in someone's life. So like that might be their one run a week where they get to like totally de-stress. So, and then he had quite an interesting view on volunteering in that they don't want to ever force it, but actually kind of where's the right balance? Do you encourage people to do it once every few months, or do you just leave people to do it what they want to do? But I think that was the reason they've never like put a ratio on it. But I always think that if you can, and you can just give up that one run, then yeah, it absolutely makes the world a difference.
That's
Like you're
interesting.
saying.
Yeah, that's interesting. Right, Wilco, you look like you're waiting for your dinner to turn up. Are you all right?
No, mate. I'm on this new diet. Oh no, I'm not eating late. I've out with me.
Well, how's that going?
All right, taking along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done half a stone in 3 weeks.
Yeah, me too.
No, he's put half a stone on. That's what he means. He ain't lost it.
Was that including that ice cream that looked like it'd been rolled on a barn dance floor?
I genuinely have lost half a stone. Seriously.
Yeah.
Lost half a stone. Yeah. Ask Nick.
Good.
Seriously.
Yeah. Good. So no, I'm not waiting for my dinner
athlete.
at all. My dinner's been eaten and consumed and done.
So now what do? Just sit there and
Well, now I'm going to sit here and listen to what Matt's got to
Sucking
say about
air.
food because when we get to about 8 o'clock, he might open all sorts of
he might
different
actually.
windows.
Matt's now going to
and
tell us that we can eat anything.
yeah, and the chippy
Genius.
shuts at 8, which is a bit of a push. But you don't know what he's going to say, do you?
Can I ask Matt a really quick first question?
Oh.
Is Lucy by any chance related to you?
She was, yeah. She was my wife.
Right.
She was.
She's just come in the comments saying the reason why you don't actually do parkrun is because you're rubbish at getting up in the morning.
Yeah, she's pretty good at doing parkrun. I stay with the young one. That's my line.
Yeah, I like it. It's an easy way of getting out of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, I've just got to sit here with the kids. Sorry about that.
I'm doing my bit as a dad.
Yeah, you crack on. I'm just going to stand outside Primark. What? Right, okay. Now, Matt, my hero. As always, if you're new to this show, hopefully I feel you in. But basically, I'm addicted to TikTok. It's like a neurodivergent's best friend. Anything, it's just dopamine on a drip. It's brilliant. Okay. And I was scrolling through, and all of a sudden Matt's face pops up, and he was hammering somebody about something, and it was and it's like what Wilco, what's his name? Oh, the Irish guy. Ojean. Brilliant. Have you seen him, Matt? Ojean, Mulligan's Fitness. Check him out. It's choice language. Don't have it on in front of the kids. But he talks about weight loss, but he does it in a really good way. So anyway, I was scrolling through, and Matt caught my attention, and then I can't remember which one it was, Matt. Oh, I know one. A CBD oil brand. Yeah. Come on, sir. And I thought straight away, I like this guy because what it was. And then obviously I started seeing more and more, and then he started talking. But what really was interesting for me was the comments and the to-ing and throwing in the comments. Some of it was total bollocks, but
I love the comments. That's why I do the videos.
I could see that from the responses. But it was really interesting hearing some of your thoughts on a lot of stuff that as runners we are like almost neurotic about, like gels, ice baths, electrolyte drinks, this and that. It was just like everything. It was unbelievable. So again, for everybody who's just joined us back, where can they find you on TikTok?
I think my name is Matt Carpenter Science. They can find me.
Okay.
If they type in Matt Endurance Scientist, they'll find me as well.
Brilliant. And just to tell them again what that long-winded thing you told that Hayden was. So what is it?
I'm a lecturer. I'm a lecturer in sports science. I'm researching endurance exercise.
Okay, so he's doing stuff about all this stuff. He's not just talking nonsense like the rest of us. Okay, so Matt, as somebody from the outside, firstly, I want to talk about how you deal with the negative comments on the social media side of things before we get into the other. Is it something that impacts you? Because people do go after you. Because it's rightly so. Yeah, there's opinions on both sides of all arguments. Okay, not arguments, but in terms of the way people. There's studies that are pro this. There's studies that are pro that. Right. There's always a different opinion most of the time on how you look at something, and that's the beautiful thing about the world. Not everybody's right. You have an opinion, and you have your reason why your opinion. You back that up with X, Y, and Z, and you're welcome to that opinion, and it should be appreciated. But then you're always going to get some helmet who knows better and goes 2-footed on you just because they're just rude. But how do you, on the social side of things, cope with that?
Honestly, I didn't know how it would affect me. The comments, I think, like you said, about 99% or 95% are like good faith disagreements. And to be honest, those are great.
good.
Like I learned from it, get other people's perspective. Like I don't claim to be the know of everything. I'm wrong about things, and sometimes it's we just have disagreements that I can respond to. Sometimes I leave it. Sometimes it's quite a good learning. So I talk a lot, and it's probably my most boring videos, but I talk about the research process and how to understand like whole bodies of literature, because you can find a study that says this, a study that says that.
Yeah.
And so understanding, okay, how do you understand like what is the consensus? So sometimes it's a learning opportunity. When they're going in two-footed, I honestly love it. I find it so funny. There are some good ones. Like when I started, it was probably when it was like a bit smaller, it almost hurt more because it was only like the odd one here and there. Whereas now it's like, let's look at these comments I get to review, and I feel quite powerful because you have to choose which ones you let onto the page or not. I normally let them on, to be honest. But I had my favourite one. I had one at the start where someone told me I look like JD Vance, and that's
Random.
I've never heard that before. And then it came up once, and I looked and I showed my friends. I'm like, oh God, you do. I was like, that's why I've got a moustache. And I was like, I need to break this.
To lose the JD Vance thing.
Yeah. But then someone about 3 weeks later said, you look like JD Vance if he lost 40 pounds. I thought, now we're talking. There we go. That's much more idea. But honestly, I in the world of science, it's quite brutal when you try and publish papers. I've just had a paper rejected about 2 days ago, and that's 2 academics telling you how bad the thing you've been working on for 5 years is. And so compared to that, social media is like, sweet, bring it on.
It's a breath of fresh air. It's nice to hear. And to say he like Ocean, he puts himself out there, and again, it's not to be controversial. You're talking about your perspective, your opinion based on what your learnings and things like that, as you say, and you're putting it out there. And some people strongly disagree with it and go about it the right way. But there's always the odd helmet. And they can't. I
love the helmets.
They can't. They some of them are all right, and then some of them. There was this geezer on this video, actually on one of Aubrey's videos the other day. He was quite rude about me. He was saying that I'm bullshit and I'm this and I'm that, and it doesn't, and all this. And I wrote back to him because I don't use you enough. I said to him, look, you may be confusing bullshit and the comment that I write back, you're confusing that with my autism, because I'm quite straight, a black or white. That's just the way I am, okay? And that's not an excuse. That's just, if you know that about that person, then you're probably more likely to go, oh, okay, maybe he's not necessarily meaning that how that sounds. It's just like bang. And he then came back again at me. And I thought, you know what? I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, mate. I've had a few beers.
Yeah, I was going to say, the problem is it had to handle Wilco runs on it, so that's what I put down. But it's true. But the point is that you do get these people occasionally, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because I'm not. Well, I hope. Hayden, would you say I'm controversial?
Yes.
Oh shit. Beth, my junior, would you say I am?
Never.
See what I mean? Honestly, she's absolutely legend. Yeah, it's a funny old thing, isn't it, the old social media? But anyway, so that's what I brought it up because I wondered how you cope with it. More for learning than anything else. Right, so Hayden, should we go knee deep in on him?
Absolutely. This is what everyone's here to.
Right, so everybody's here to get some knowledge, I think. And again, right, I'm just going to put a caveat to all of this. This is Matt's opinions based around what he knows, okay? Okay, all right? And he can back it up with what he's done. Fair play to him for coming on and going through this, because a lot of people ain't got the balls to go out there and say what he's saying and do what he's doing. So fair play to you, Matt. I'm big respect in that side of things. So Hayden, you go first, and what we'll do is we'll work around the room. We'll just keep grilling him until he collapses.
Okay. Actually, so when Chris actually sent me a clip of yours about a week or so ago, and it's about the half marathon, taking gels on a half marathon.
Yeah.
And this is actually quite a big thing I find within our community, because a lot of people don't. Not everyone, as I say, this is all down to opinion. So not everyone can say, oh, I've got the exact right formula that works for me. Some people take one, some people take two, some do none, some will take 3 or 4. And you're like, what is going on? I would like to hear basically what you went through for that couple of minutes, telling people the way you stand and why you think on a half marathon, you shouldn't even really be taking gels.
Yeah, I think the first thing you said there is the right answer, is that there isn't one right way. And this is the beauty of TikTok, is that I more or less said that, and then you get all these people in the comments say, I took 5 gels and I was fine. So you can take 5. I'm not stopping anyone taking any gels. I think what I wanted to point out was that I ran the Hackney Half very slowly. I'm jogging along at the back, and I saw such long queues for the portaloos the whole way through. And I just thought, and you see everywhere you're running, there's gels, like the packets underneath you. And you just realize people don't realize how little gels they actually need to do these runs. It's not that you have to take gels or have to not take gels, but it just seemed like running people that have taken gels, or there's an assumption that gels are like an essential part of running a half marathon, and they're expensive. And to me, when someone's starting running, like, I think it's important to know that you don't have to. You can get through a half marathon if you wanted to with nothing. It might not be the fastest way to do it, but you don't need any gels. Also, you can take your carbohydrates in a drink. You can take carbohydrates in the form of jelly babies, but for a half marathon, you probably don't need to bring a pack of 4 gels down here and 4 in your waistband. And that was the general point I was making. And
but what is the science behind that? What is your reasoning for saying that you don't need, if someone like me maybe take 2 or 3 gels?
Yeah.
What is your science behind that for you saying that I don't need to do that?
So basically, we have on average about 2,000 calories worth of carbohydrates at any given point. As long as we've carb loaded okay days before the marathon, we should have about 2,000 calories worth of carbohydrate. And so that's about 2 hours worth. But we don't just use carbohydrate when we run, we use fat as well. And so this is where obviously the level of an athlete comes into it a bit as well. I had the winner of the Hackney Half, or joint winner, comment on the video, say he took 1 gel. Obviously it's different, he did it in 66 minutes. But when people run slower, they tend to burn more fat, so they're using less carbohydrate as well. And so there are really 2 benefits to carbohydrate. One of them is keeping your blood glucose stable, so stopping your blood sugar going down. And the other one is to have that like direct effect on the brain. So it does benefit performance, but it's not impacting your muscle glycogen levels. And that's where about 3/4 of your carbohydrates are stored. And to be honest, in a half marathon, it's very unlikely you're going to run out of those stores anyway. The bigger concern to me in a half marathon is the heat and staying hydrated. That's a much bigger issue, which is why to me, the best way to get carbohydrate is probably in a drink. But basically, it's very hard to run out of your carbohydrate stores in a half marathon, because if you're fast, well, then you can't burn 2,000 calories in an hour. No one's doing that. Elite athletes might burn 1,100, 1,200 calories an hour. They're not running out of carbohydrates doing 66, 70, 80 minutes. But the slower people are, the less calories they're burning per hour. So they're still, because someone's running a 2-hour half marathon like me, my carbohydrate requirements aren't the same as Eliud Kipchoge running a 2-hour marathon, because he's burning 1,200 calories an hour. I'm probably burning 700. And so basically there's no metabolic need in terms of the muscle for carbohydrate in the half marathon. Doesn't mean it won't benefit, because it has benefits on the brain and maintaining your blood glucose. But to get those benefits, you probably need 20 grams over 2 hours. And that does you plenty.
But you've got like the performance element, because obviously some gels have got caffeine in, right? So that will give you a boost.
Yeah.
Won't it?
Oh yeah.
The caffeine will give you a boost.
Yeah, I mean, there's a debate as to how much caffeine you need to get a boost, but caffeine, yeah, is 100% improving performance as long as you can avoid the toilet.
Oh yeah, because obviously that, for some people it does have the
yeah. Well, I think the other thing I think as well, when I made that video, is a part of it was, the mantra is always don't do anything in a race you don't do in training.
Yeah. And
my view is, for a recreational athlete, if they have prepared to take 4 or 5 gels in training, then they've been having to spend a lot of money on gels. I think just for their own bank balance, you don't need that much.
It does seem a lot, doesn't it? Like, how many gels do you take, Beth, in a half?
None. I'm a pro jelly baby taker.
There you go. See, athlete.
Like that.
What about you, Wilco, on the gel side of things?
I'd take a couple. I was interested to see what Matt was saying about them benefiting your brain. I mean, you could. I'm seeing this as sort of like also giving sort of like cognitive comfort, and like, I've done 30 odd half marathons. Generally, I've always taken a couple. I've taken one at 5 and one at 10, and often one before a start, and I've always done that. So it becomes part of, is that something that when you're offering new advice and different, mainly ideas that are a little bit maybe off the cuff, a little bit, left field, do you find that people are they're so set in their ways on these sort of things that it's difficult to sort of like, for want of a better word, educate them into trying something different and evaluating whether they actually need all this stuff?
Maybe a bit. I think you get a range. You get one extreme or the other, people that are dead set in their ways, or people that can't help but do something different every time, which are definitely the biggest problem. Because if you've done something and you've done it every half marathon you've done, then again, it's not making you any slower. To me, I think that being a Hackney Half and seeing a lot of runners around me thinking, I don't believe that you've had 4 gels to train repeatedly to make sure your stomach's trained to do that. But yeah, the brain benefits are super interesting because the research that found that looked at carbohydrate mouth rinse. So basically using like a carbohydrate mouthwash, not even swallowing the carbohydrate, and it improved performance. And so it's because of some salivary enzymes that link to your brain and activates brain centers and gives you like a psychological boost, which is my favorite research. But yeah, so it's benefiting your brain and keeping your blood glucose stable.
Interesting. Right, next one. Hayden, can I go next?
You go, mate.
I'm not going to do the one you think I'm going to do.
It's got to come up at some point.
I'm saving that for the end.
The tension's killing me.
But what's your thoughts on electrolytes as he sips a drink?
It's orange squash.
Okay. Where are we at? Because the electrolyte market is booming, right? There are brands out there that are taking advantage of people by saying that you need this, this, and this, and they're charging them the absolute wrong price for a load of old took. But is there science in terms of the electrolytes about, the sodium, magnesium, and all that sort of stuff that we should be taking on, and all this sort of stuff? Is there enough in the all the different brands that are out there? There's obviously a million of them now. Where's your head at with electrolytes and all that sort of stuff? How can you guide us through that?
It's a mad world. It's not the maddest world. The maddest world I found recently is the world of mushrooms, but that's another conversation.
You just made me think of another thing. What's that horrible stuff that looks like something, but bicarbonate?
Oh, sodium bicarbonate.
Yeah, we've got to talk about that because that's disgusting. That looks disgusting, but I want to talk about it.
It is disgusting.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
So, where were we?
Yeah, electrolytes. Beth wanted to know about electrolytes.
Electrolytes they're a really interesting one because my first big TikTok was about electrolytes, and so everyone assumes I hate electrolytes. I don't hate electrolytes. I hate most electrolyte companies, and I think the issue is the way it's sold is you have to, if you're going to run, you've got to replace the salt that you lose in your sweat, and there's sort of discussion around that. And most electrolytes are basically just salt drinks. If you look at the ingredients, they market themselves as electrolytes, and they have some potassium, some magnesium, some calcium, but basically nothing of relevance, of the trace amounts of all those, and loads of salt, which is useful in some cases. If you're doing prolonged exercise or you're exercising in the heat, then it's really important to get salt on board. But for your everyday runner, you're getting plenty of salt in your diet. Most people are probably getting a bit too much salt in their diet already. So then adding in extra salt because you're going on a 5K, you're just increasing your daily salt intake. So my main issue with electrolytes is I think probably the way they're marketed, and it's not honest enough about the fact that there's a time and a place to consume salt, but it's probably not every day unless you're putting up some serious volume in your training. And the best parts of electrolytes are the potassium and the magnesium in terms of general health. And the data on potassium is really, really strong. That the more potassium you consume, the lower your blood pressure is. It almost counters the act of salt. But most electrolyte drinks will have loads of sodium and a tiny bit of potassium. And the reason is because you lose a lot of sodium in your sweat, not much potassium, not much magnesium. But most people consume too much salt, too much sodium, not enough potassium. And then taking an electrolyte drink, you're just adding to that extra. And so I'm really big on potassium. Most of them, some of them are different now. I've seen a couple that have got a bit more potassium in. But in
so we should be looking in our electrolyte drinks that we get. We should be looking for one that's got a higher potassium content.
Yeah. So especially if you're taking sodium, research has shown if you consume potassium at high amounts, it offsets the increase in blood pressure sodium can exert as well. So I would definitely go for. A big red flag to me is the companies. I'm not going to name them. I'm quite scared of naming these companies now. I let my comment section do that for me. The companies that will put in a gram of sodium and then 200 grams of potassium or something like that. Your daily recommended daily amounts. Sodium is 2.3 grams, potassium is 3.2. So you should be consuming a lot more potassium than sodium. And electrolytes just have that the other way around. And then magnesium is usually just in electrolyte drinks, so they can say it's got magnesium, but they put in so little that it doesn't do anything. But again, magnesium, there's more and more data to show in terms of general health is quite good. But you need...
Look at this pro here. Look at this pro. Look, that's magnesium. This magnesium oil is natural source for something. This is from the Jordan Valley, basically Amazon. Supports quick recovery, relieves sore muscles, improves sleep. I don't know how this rubbing on my calves has improved my sleep. Relieves stress. I feel really stressed, so that's bollocks. It improves skin condition. It makes my skin sting when I put it on. And it's suitable for active children and during pregnancy. Well, I'm not either then. And then it says I can't put it anywhere near my eyes. But apparently this is really good for me, as you just said, magnesium oil. So I'm not drinking this. I'm spraying this, by the way. So, magnesium. But apparently there's magnesium in this. You're saying this electrolyte drink from this brand we're not going to talk about.
Most electrolyte drinks have magnesium in, so they can mention all the claims related to magnesium. But
So they are good if you're doing basically endurance-based stuff.
yeah, it depends on the type of athlete, I think, because most people that are exercising a bit, not loads, recreational runners that want to be healthy but also want to make sure they're improving their performance, an electrolyte drink is fine as long as you've got one that's got enough potassium in and not too much sodium.
Okay.
More or less 1-to-1 or slightly more sodium potassium, and you're fine. If you're looking at these huge ratios, well, if you're doing if you're training for an ultra marathon, whatever it might be, you're doing 3-4 hour runs on the regular, yeah, makes sense, because on average you lose about 1 gram of sodium per litre of sweat. A litre of sweat, hour and a half's worth of sweat, so you're losing about 1 gram of sodium per hour. Now, if you're exercising for 2-3 hours, then that becomes relevant, but if you're exercising for an hour, it's not particularly relevant.
Interesting. Right, next, because I've just seen it. Wilco, you've probably seen it in the comments. Beetroot shots. Bollocks or not?
Beetroot shots, bollocks or not? Not bollocks, but not. It's a real 0.1%. So,
hang on. Go on, keep going. Actually, keep going.
I've got some in my fridge, to be honest. So the evidence is fairly good on beetroot juice, but the magnitude of the effect is very small, and you need to get quite a lot. Which ones have you got?
I've got this one. Not sponsored. Beat It Sport Nitrate 400 concentrated beetroots. I took these before the London Marathon, and it made no difference. But I took them years ago, and I don't know whether I made a difference or not. Whether it's a training, but I did PB, so I don't know whether this. But this has got. Oh, she's got an address where to complain to. It's on the back here. Energy. What am I looking for? And it's just got carbohydrate in 17 grams.
Yeah. So if nothing else, if you're drinking beetroot before your race, you're getting carbohydrates in. But no, so that one's got a set amount of nitrate. So you said 400 milligrams. That's the amount of nitrate that it contains. The nitrate is a bit that improves performance. So a lot of people ask, can I just have the beetroot, like the cartons of beetroot you can buy in a shop? But because you don't know how much nitrate that's got in, you don't know whether it's got enough to improve your performance, whereas those ones are designed with a set amount of nitrate. So yeah, it improves performance. It's not magic. It's not going to improve your performance by an amount that most people would notice. But yeah, it's one of the few supplements that does have evidence that improves performance and endurance.
So there we go, people. Get on your thing. Creatine. Bollocks or not? This is a new game. This is a brilliant game. Hey,
Admin is going to go meth with you.
Think about the jingle, Beth, that you could come up with for this. Creatine. Talk to us about creatine. Beth really wants to know about this because she uses a lot of it.
Creatine is fantastic for endurance running. It's probably not going to benefit, but it's not going to make you worse either. For everything outside of endurance, so for strength, it's the best research supplement out there. It's had huge amounts of research. Anything that's not monohydrate is a waste of money. That's just creatine monohydrate is the cheapest, and so companies have spent years trying to find one that's more expensive that's better, but none are better. But yeah, so it improves strength, and there's some research suggesting it could improve recovery from exercise. So I used to say creatine for endurance exercise not relevant, not important, because quite a few reviews have found no difference in performance.
We've all just seen the comment come in.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Pete. We won't bring that one live on air. I know Abby's going to tell me off, but if I tell that off, she'll shut me down. Yeah, go on, sorry.
But there's some research that's come out fairly recently looking at creatine as a potential recovery tool, so taking it daily for endurance performance, and it might improve recovery. So at worst, it's not making you any slower. At best, it might be improving recovery. And there's growing research in that world of health now for creatine and looking at potential benefits on the brain. So I'm quite big on creatine.
You made a perfect link. Sorry, Chris, mate. Because I've been dying to ask this one, because this one is where we're all relevant. And if Toby was here, it'd be the one who'd be putting his headphones on and listening closely. So when we talk about recovery, like you just did a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So your TikTok video on recovery, if you're listening to it, if you haven't seen it, it's really good. You mentioned about 3 different recovery types and you rank them all. Tell us about that and rank them. And we all know one's going to be. This is for us everyday runners.
Do you know what? I had such a good time, but it shows how bad I am at social media that I was convinced that was going to be my biggest ever TikTok. I ranked McDonald's, sauna, and ice bath in terms of their recovery benefits. Since we had McDonald's first, sauna second, ice baths third.
Hold tight. Hold tight. Say that again.
So we ranked recovery tools. It was actually based on a comment. It was a good comment. But yeah, it was looking at if we combined, because people, I did a video on ice baths. I like doing videos on ice baths because people are very passionate about ice baths. And we compared, someone asked about combining it with saunas, and then so someone else added and said, what about McDonald's, the big three? And so we evaluated. But it was my slightly clickbaity way of making a serious point that the most important things for recovery are protein, carbohydrate, and hydration, and sleep. I didn't include sleep, but sleep is number 4. And after those 4 things, everything else is, again, the 1%, or like I said in the video, in ice bath's case, probably 0%. So you're better off going to McDonald's than getting an ice bath.
Have an ice bath.
There you go. Brilliant.
Beth, you're now in charge. I'm going to put that arm stand back on.
Yeah, we're in. I'm ringing Uber Eats.
Yes. It just reminded me of something else. I can't remember what it was. So ice baths, just very quickly, because again we've got a million. Beth's got about 100 questions for you. She's next. But ice baths, just in because people are going to lose their minds about this. You see them selling them at the National Running Show for 20 grand. You see them, all over TikTok. All these
see people getting into their
influencers
recycling bins
and all that sort of stuff. What's your opinion? I've got no opinion on it. What's your opinion on it?
Also, I stick very specifically to exercise performance. So I know a lot of people comment on the video about cognitive benefits or mental health. Not my area. I've got no idea. Specifically looking at exercise performance, so there's very clear research that anyone wanting to build strength, if you ice bath after you train, it actually blunts that response that helps you build muscle, the hypertrophic response, because it reduces inflammation. So it's bad for people trying to build strength. It can actually slow down your gains. But the idea is that obviously it improves recovery. And so because of that, the idea would be that it's only beneficial if you've got, say, a footballer that's playing on a Saturday and a Tuesday, then they might want an ice bath in between to recover more quickly. But they wouldn't want to do it in pre-season because it's going to blunt their gains in performance and the adaptations to exercise. But research quite recently has actually questioned whether it even improves recovery, which has screwed the ice bath the ice bath sellers a bit, because they induce maximal fatigue. It's on like a leg extension that basically gets your legs extending until you're completely screwed on your quads and hamstrings. Then they ice bath them and then tested them in their endurance the day after, and they found no benefit to an ice bath at all. And so ice baths numb the pain sensation. So if you're in loads of pain, then an ice bath can reduce the pain, but it looks like that doesn't actually improve your performance in terms of speeding your recovery up. It just numbs your legs a bit.
Amazing, isn't it? Beth, what are you thinking? What are you going to grill him on?
What am I going to grill him on? One just came up. I absolutely hate the cold. But there's one that came up that said, what's your guys' thoughts on heat training, from Paul? So send me to the sun any day, if that helps.
Yeah, 100%.
So altitude, heat training, is that any use, or is that all?
Yeah. So, and again, my bias here is that I hate the cold and I love the warm. Although I say that I'm this pale, I have to stay in the shade anyway. But no, heat training there's more and more research showing benefits to heat training. So whether that be training in the heat itself, or wearing like a sauna suit and going on a treadmill, or going in a sauna after exercise, there is a growing amount of research to show that improves exercise performance. And so I know some people are doing like long hot baths, which sound horrible, but anything to increase your core temperature, and it can increase your plasma volume in the blood, basically helps you get more blood around the body. If you get more blood around the body, you get more nutrients, so you get more carbohydrate to the muscles, you get more oxygen to the muscles. So heat training actually, there's growing rationale in science that there's benefits to that, similar-ish to altitude training, but without the cost of flying up to, outdoors or wherever people go now. So heat training is beneficial. Again, we're talking like 1% here. If you're not an elite athlete,
yeah. Like, no, I appreciate it.
Don't go and buy a new gym membership to go to a sauna, or don't buy yourself a £5,000 sauna because I said this. But yeah, there are seemingly benefits to heat training.
Hayden's already got one. He's a millionaire. He's got 2.
That'd be useful too.
I'll take one.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on turmeric? Because admin tells me to. Whenever I've got anything wrong, admin goes, I'll get the old turmeric in your FORDY. And I'm not having that, monk. It's just disgusting. What's the deal with turmeric?
Oh, this is a really boring answer. I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't seen the research. I tend to be skeptical about things that haven't things that say they reduce inflammation. Normally don't, but I'm not sure.
I like an honest man. Yeah. I like somebody who turns to me and says, I don't know about that. That's fair enough. Right, so on that stuff that looks like something that we shouldn't really be talking about on this show, this biocarbonate stuff, right, that you see all these influencers slurping it down before they go and run their 5K because they got invited there. What's that all about?
Yeah, see, I wish, because of how this has been taken on by said influencers, I wish this didn't work, but it does. But there are so many caveats to it that it becomes fun. When I was doing my master's degree, I did a project on bicarbonate because we've known since the 1990s that bicarbonate improves performance, but specifically in anaerobic performance, so 2 to 8 minutes. So think like 2K rows are a good example. So rowers have always known to take bicarbonate. Then your 1,500 meter runners, your 3,000 meter runners, but not anything longer than that. But the big issue with bicarbonate is that firstly, there was no way to market it because it's literally baking soda you buy for 40p in Sainsbury's. So no one really cashed in. And the second reason was that it gave so many people such severe GI issues. Just again,
what's GI for thick people like me?
Diarrhea.
Oh.
So
I know what he's talking about.
And me as a lazy 22-year-old doing my master's degree didn't read that part of the research paper that mentioned that, and so we didn't acknowledge it at all. And we haven't got a toilet in our lab, and so we had to direct people on like a 200-meter run to get to toilets. It's the most disgusting drink I've ever tasted in my life. But what Morton have done, and the reason it's become such a big thing now, is that Morton have created a technology that basically encapsulates the bicarbonate, so it bypasses the stomach, so it prevents or reduces the rates of the GI distress, so the diarrhea.
Very clever.
How can they bypass the stomach? What have they created to bypass the stomach?
Quite slow release capsules. I don't know the technology.
Wow. Genius, really. Think about it. Wow, that's pretty.
Yeah.
So Peter's just said it's the stuff you put on the you put in Mentos that make Coca-Cola. Yeah, too right. So that's that. Wilco, I've got one to finish him off. It's my favourite one.
Right. Okay.
But have you got any?
Well, I did have one that our friend Mark Reynolds just wrote in the comments that he was. He says that he's stuck in the pre-diabetic range for a few years, and he thinks that his gel consumption might be contributing to that. Are you able to shed any light on that, Matt?
Yeah. Well, so there's this idea in research called the fit but unhealthy athlete, and the idea is that a lot of elite athletes that we look at and think they're a beacon of health actually turns out they're quite unhealthy, and so there's obviously a lot of discussion as to what could that be, and part of that conversation is the kind of the very, very high sugar consumption. There's other things as well, things like high cortisol levels, stress, lack of sleep, but there is a theory, and I would completely agree with this, although it's an area of research it's not set in stone, but that I think taking loads of carbohydrates, especially if you're already pre-diabetic, so your body's not great at using those carbohydrates, I think it's another good reason to know that people don't need to necessarily take as many carbohydrates as they sometimes are led to believe.
Mick just said, so a Morton, like that bicarb stuff, that's not the gels though, that's another product they're doing it.
Yeah, they sell gels as well.
But they do this bicarb products, what you're saying? Yeah.
For £15 a serving.
I was going to say, I bet that's a bit punchy.
15 quid.
Do you know what I mean? 15 quid to run, but if it makes you run faster, or it may make you run faster.
And there's good evidence. Again, there's very good evidence it improves very short duration exercise.
Yeah.
And there's growing evidence it improves long duration, but especially in elite athletes. So the effect it's going to have on me running a 2-hour, 15-minute half marathon, probably very small.
Marginal.
So I think, again, it's very much one of those where elite athletes, I would be recommending it. The click of my fingers, for the majority of people, I'm saying, do you want to spend £60 on a pack of 4? I think you could probably spend your money in better ways.
I'm hearing some proper elite advice tonight, though. So far, we've got jelly babies for carbohydrates, some salt and vinegar crisps for salt, avoid the beetroot, go to McDonald's and go off to the sun. I'm loving it.
Wow. That's end of the podcast.
That's
No, but Beth, we've got to get on to my favourite topic. You ready?
I'll hold fire.
Now, there are some products out there and we're not going to name any brands in particular, Beth. We're not allowed to do that because Wilco is going to ring admin, and admin's going to ring me, and I'm going to get told off. I may still get told off for this one anyway. But there are some products out there that people that started using because it was very popular on social media that had CBD elements to them, and they were rolling them on their skin, and they were consuming them in tablet form or capsule form, and they were doing all this sort of stuff, and there was creams and potions and all this kind of thing. I'm trying really hard not to name anybody. What, Matt, is the evidence and your thoughts about this sort of stuff without naming anybody in particular, even though we want to?
CBD.
Yeah.
No, so well, the topical stuff, I did look at that research because of a specific brand that I knew was selling it, and I saw lots of people rubbing it around them. Topical application, like rubbing it on your skin, there's no evidence of any benefit at all. In terms of like ingesting it, consuming it, I know there's research happening, so people are interested in it, but the research happening hasn't been done. So it probably doesn't work. Most things don't work. There's a slim chance that it does, and we'll find out in about 4 years' time. But it's one of those things where the marketing team goes mad, and then suddenly research is like, oh shit, we should probably see if this actually works. But in the meantime, they'll tell us it works.
But in terms of like rubbing it in your skin, CBD's oil, it comes in, they sell, and again, you go Holland and Barrett, they sell
Sorry,
it.
mate. Can you just explain what CBD is?
Matt, you're better at all this.
There's cannabis oil. I think it's, I mean, this isn't my strongest area, but
appreciate that.
It's how do I say it? It's part of the what's it called?
Hang on, Matt. I'm gonna say there, because Wilco's so lazy and he can't go. He can't go on.
I'm trying to get it for the benefit of the listeners and the viewers.
Hang on, because Wilco can't Google it.
I'm just glad Matt's discrediting it because my wife puts on before she goes to bed.
Cannabidiol is a chemical compound found in the cannabis plant, particularly hemp, variety with low THC content, unlike THC, which causes the.
Oh, but so basically it's
it doesn't
a cannabis oil that you rub on your legs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't induce the high, like where so if you're smoking cannabis, you get that high,
and that's THC.
Allegedly. But with the stuff that you put on your skin or ingest or whatever,
right? Okay, yeah,
it doesn't. So what you're saying is there's no evidence out there. You believe, again, it's your opinion, and you're totally welcome to it. That putting that CBD stuff. So if my calves are playing up. Or like Ben does, he rubs it on his calves before he goes and runs very slow at the Hackney Half. That's making no difference to him.
Well, the only difference it could make, and this is a controversial topic.
Placebo, we'll put that to one side.
Yeah. So it's like it's the same thing of K-tape. Everyone wears K-tape. There's no good evidence it has any benefits. But people feel.
I knew you were going to do that.
You're welcome.
He's just put his leg up in the air and showed a big blue stripe of his K-tape going from his heel
you're here all night.
to the top of his thigh.
You know, I spent my childhood watching Gareth Bale run around in beautiful pink K-tape, and so I wanted it to be beneficial. But there's not any good. One of my best mates is doing his PhD in it, and he spent the first 4 years of his PhD with me.
Not a PhD in K-tape.
Brilliant.
Hang on.
I know. They'll give it out to anyone these days.
So he's doing a study
4 studies.
on sellotape. of furry fabric sellotape. That you stick and it just hurts when you pull it off because if you've got hairy legs.
Yeah, but at the start, I really wanted to know the theory behind it, and so I said, "Oh, can you tell me about it?" And it just said, "Don't fucking work, mate."
Oh, Admin's going to tell you off. Beth, for the record, that wasn't me.
Okay, noted.
Thank you. But no, I'm with you, Matt. Keep firing from the hip, bruv. I'm with you. Let's go down together.
but people put it on and they feel, and he did some interviews with people that used it, and they said, "Oh, I feel more comfortable when I've got it on. I feel more confident, so I can extend my stride and all these things." And so that would benefit the performance. And so the same thing goes for when you're rubbing things on your leg. If you feel like, "Oh, I've rubbed this on now, my recovery is going to be better. I'm going to feel less pain," then you probably will, not because of anything you've done, just because.
What about like the creams that you rub in?
What cream?
Because you got like Holland and Barrett and other brands. You can buy a cream, like a CBD cream thing that you can rub in.
And with topical CBD, there's no good evidence it does anything.
Interesting. I've got to stop because I'm going to get my... Yeah.
Deep heat works.
Oh, don't, honestly, Matt, can
Oh.
you talk about deep heat? Because a friend of mine, right, I'm not going to name names. You go up to a race, yeah, and you can smell him before he's actually got into the pen with you. The only problem is I quite like the smell. And as we sold the story at Berlin Marathon, there was like 5 of us in the pen with him, and we're all sniffing him. Is there any evidence that deep heat works? Please tell me no. Please tell me no.
More evidence that deep heat works than CBD oil.
There you go.
I looked at it briefly, and the research was it was a minefield, because it's one of those where there's a load of stuff. There's a lot for, there's a lot against.
It's got everything.
I feel like I'm just critiquing every product you've ever owned or owned.
This is not to put on my skin. This just remind me of Hayden. Sorry, we've gone totally off. Wilco, you're meant to be keeping us in order. We're going to have lawsuits, everything tonight.
No, we're doing fine, mate. We've got no issues.
What's his? He'll get as a result of his PhD. Will be no benefit adding to the progress of humanity. He'll get a job at McDonald's after his it's probably true with the sellotape on his legs. Beth, what else have we got? What about knee? That's another one. I don't know whether this is in your remit. What about these people who wear like these neoprene knee things?
Oh, the
knee sling things.
Knee
yeah.
supports, yeah.
Is that your? I don't know whether that's in your skill, T, but any thoughts on them?
I'm skeptical.
He's skeptical. The
It's
man's
not-
skeptical.
Yeah, it's not directly in my area.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you what really quickly is. I really like to get into full.
Look, yeah, because you're standing an
I know,
hour
I know,
already.
I know.
We could, like,
Just
18
really tell me
hours. Brilliant.
how good is chocolate milkshake?
Yeah.
It's the first conference I ever went to, there was a whole afternoon on chocolate milkshake, and I was so confused. I was 22 years old. I was like, I'm going to the chocolate milkshake place, and yeah, it's good. It's again, it is one of those things that it's like sports scientists have discovered clickbait, and so they found chocolate milkshake because it's basically the carb to protein ratio is really good, 3-to-1 to 4-to-1, and it's got calcium and it's got vitamin C, vitamin D. So it is good. Yeah, it's.
Can I have a pint of Guinness instead?
Guinness,
Because
please.
effectively, that's effectively like a milkshake.
Iron, carbohydrate. If you add a bit
Yeah.
of protein powder into it, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, so protein.
Or bag of crisps.
Wilco. Last one, protein, because everybody on now my TikTok feed, because I'm losing all this weight, which I know, Beth, you realised I had. Is that true what they say about like putting loads of protein in that does help with the weight loss, or is that not your skill?
In terms of weight loss, that's an interesting one. There's possibly, yeah. So it depends, I guess, on how you're administering it. Protein's satiating compared to fat and carbohydrate. Taken individually, protein's the most satiating macronutrient, so it should help you feel full compared to the same calories worth of pasta or butter or whatever it might be. So in that sense, yeah.
Calf sleeves.
Oh, calf sleeves. It's a lovely fashion accessory.
There you go. I tell you what, I think this is brilliant. This will be one of the best shows I've ever done.
Yeah.
So what I've really understood from tonight, just to wrap this up, Ben, and you'll agree. Firstly, obviously, I'm looking a lot slimmer. Secondly, we all need to go to McDonald's. Thirdly, we don't need to spend any money on gels for a half marathon. We just have one, maybe. We don't need ice baths. We don't need any CBD oil products to be rubbing into our skin. That makes no sense. Carb sleeves are a waste of time. Knee things are a waste of time. People are writing reports about sellotape that you stick on your legs. And what was the last thing? Oh, electrolytes. You need to check how much potassium's in the electrolyte to make sure that it's all right.
Eat bananas. They've got loads of potassium.
Or potatoes. Yeah. Potatoes, 900 milligrams of potassium in a potato.
See, this is
Chips.
I'm going to go have chips. And you know what? Instead of mayonnaise, I'm going to put deep heat on them. Right, team. Beth, have you got anything to add?
I do not.
Hayden, have you got anything to add other than the fact that
my brain's going around in circles trying
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
This is brilliant show. This is brilliant.
Matt, can you tell everybody, because we get 1 million downloads a week, right? So can you tell everybody again where they can find you, please?
Matt Carpenter Science on TikTok.
Matt,
or if you type in Matt Endurance Scientist, you'll also find me.
Okay, so go over there. And honestly, if you want to laugh, go into the comment section. It's brilliant. Matt, we can't thank you enough for coming on. It's bold to do something like this and put yourself out there. I really, really appreciate people who have got the balls like yourself, like Ocean, who say something maybe a little bit differently, but they come out and they say it and they back it up with their opinion. And I think that's needed in this world because everybody's, banging on about this and this. So well done to you for coming out there and doing that. I got a lot of respect for you for doing that. Don't forget, on what day is it, Hayden, next week? I'm still thinking about it.
June the 4th.
Yeah, June the 4th is Global Run Day. Get involved in that. Beth, what else have I forgotten?
Going to the pub.
Go to the
Well,
pub.
I'm not, but you are.
We're going to the pub. We're back. I'm back live Monday. We're not here next Friday because we're going to play you, and I wouldn't probably bother listening to it, to be honest with you, because we're going to record the pod in the pub, so the audio is going to be terrible. But we are going to put that out next Friday, so we haven't got a live show next week. You can just join the chaos that Wilco causes on Wednesday. No, Wilco's not there. I'm going to cause it in the pub, and that's going to come out on Friday. And then, so that's it. I think you're up to speed. Watch out for the announcement about the new US club that's coming your way. We've also got another announcement coming soon that we'll hopefully be able to tell you about in terms of a partnership. And I think that's it. I'm just exhausted now. I'm spent.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Great show. Thanks again, Matt.
Cheers, Matt.
We shall see you all later.
Been a pleasure, guys. Enjoy your McDonald's.